guys, so we are doing a review and a demo and kind of a chit chat, my thoughts on, here's a little bit of insight to the drama or whatever you want to call it that's come along with the James Charles and Morphe palette. I use it to create this look I have on my eyes right now. It's very avant-garde, very fun, and it was cool to create. Listen, I don't know why, but this whole Alicia and her artist thing, like, it creeps me out. I was telling my daughter, I was like, I feel like he's gonna like watch me in my sleep and sister stalk me or something. It feels like a threat, okay? Alicia and her artist. I don't know why I don't like it. It feels like, what's your favorite scary movie? Like, it feels like the tagline of a horror movie. I don't know. Don't come for me, don't at me. Anyway, so I'm going to be talking to you guys about the actual product itself, how it performs. We'll talk about any issues that I have. There will be timestamps down below because I feel like this is going to be a long video because I genuinely had a lot to say about this. Before we get started, make sure you are subscribed if you are not, and check the down bar for links to all my social media platforms, and definitely come hang out with me on Instagram stories because I'm always active on Instagram stories. I take a lot of polls to find out what you guys want to watch. So if you want to interact, definitely do that. But yeah, let's just get started. Okay, you guys, so I have all of my complexion done with the exception of cheeks and lips. It's kind of the way I've been doing things lately. Here she is. You have no doubt seen her all over YouTube and Instagram lately, and I do believe she is sold out right now. I will leave timestamps down below in case you don't want to hear my thoughts on certain things, if you just want to watch the mini tutorial. But I do have a couple things I want to address before I get started on this, simply because, as usual, there's already been so much controversy surrounding this palette. Number one, and number two things I want to say are, number one, I do not have an affiliate code with Morphe. Morphe ain't paying me nothing. I bought this with my own money. Morphe is a brand that I really had my nose turned up about for a long time. As you know, this year I've definitely gotten into the brand and have found many things I really enjoy. I acknowledge and completely aware of the fact that typically every brand is going to have products that are better than others. Also, I am not a James Charles fangirl. I'm also not a James Charles hater. I definitely think that has a lot to do with the fact that, like, how do I say this? I don't imagine James Charles's target demographic, and he is not the type of content creator I gravitate towards. I think he's a little young for me, if that sounds weird. I think a lot of his behavior has been extremely immature and childish, but he is very young. I think it's great. He's broken down a lot of barriers. I think he's got a very bright future ahead, but I can guarantee 5 years down the road or so, he's gonna look back at a lot of things that he's done at this point, and for all I know, maybe he already realizes some of the things he's done are a little childish. I don't support that type of behavior. But all that being said, I'm not here to review James Charles the person or Morphe the brand. I'm here to, like, review this palette, this particular palette. So if you're here to, you know, if you're a James Charles or Morphe warrior and want to come here just to start and, like, square up, like, go ahead and don't bother. I'll delete you, I'll block you. I am not on anyone's payroll right now. I do not feel obligated to kiss up to any brands or any influencers. I just like makeup and want to tell you guys what works well for me. And that's another thing. This might not work well for me, or it might work amazing for me, and you might have a different experience. It doesn't make me a liar. I know I haven't done a lot of colorful looks here on my channel over the years, but colorful makeup is really how I started. First started doing makeup. Colorful makeup was pretty much the only thing I cared about or wanted to do, so it does excite me to kind of get back to this. As far as kind of like the hubbub that has been surrounding this palette thus far, I'm not going to get into specifics about it because honestly this video is probably already going to be long enough, but I will address a couple of things that if you don't already know, you should keep in mind. There has been complaints about this eyeshadow palette staining the eye area. I personally have had eyeshadows do that to me in the past. It's not unheard of. I have lipsticks that do that too. Like, there are certain makeup products I own that I know, like, oh, I can't wear this because it's gonna be stained tomorrow. I've gotta save this for a night where I have nothing to do the next day. There's also eyeshadow formulas that have given me itchy and watery eyes. So honestly, everyone is going to have different levels of sensitivity to it. Do I think Morphe or James Charles is sitting around just like, we shall give them painful eye? Like, no, I don't think I don't think that's what's happening. Do I think it does fall upon the consumer to do their research about products before they buy them? Yes. Do I think it falls on the brand to kind of elaborate on their product before selling it? Yes. So we've all kind of got a role to play in this. Another thing that's been coming up a lot is the different way it's like recommended to use this. Apparently a lot of people are upset, understandably so, that they're kind of being encouraged to buy an entirely different product in the form of an eye primer versus a concealer. Tons of people use concealer for eye priming. I don't. I've talked about this recently. I just prefer an eye primer. I think it works better, so this doesn't really affect me. But if I bought this palette and then knew I had to potentially go buy another product to use with it, might I be annoyed? Maybe a little, but it was brought up in the launch video. From what I understand, these are recommended to be used a little bit differently than an eyeshadow. This is not considered an eyeshadow palette. This is considered a pressed pigment palette. A lot of people are irritated that they're having to learn a different way to use a product as opposed to just the way they use any other eyeshadow they have. To that, I say that this might be where the biggest kind of, how do I say this? I think it's a really good idea that Morphe came out with something different because I feel like we see so much of the same stuff over and over again. And for the learning curve that this product has, I can understand why people are kind of cheesed off about it and feel like all of these different rules that have to be followed in order to make this product work speaks to the quality of the product as a whole. And while I can understand that, I haven't used it yet, so I can't like confirm or deny this. I'm just saying going into it. While I can understand that perception of the situation, there are tons of products, tons and tons of products out there that have very specific instructions on how you should use them. Now, the problem I think really is that Morphe is not and does not release what's considered a pro product. In the makeup world, you have products that are geared towards consumers, and then you also have a smaller little niche, and it does exist, of products that are really geared toward pro artists, like Midnight, Krylon, Mac Pro, MAQ Pro, Mac Pro, MAC Pro, Makeup Forever has a pro line. Like tons of companies have products that really are meant for professional use. They tend to have a little bit of a learning curve, and the objective with those products is to achieve a result that the average consumer probably doesn't need to or want to achieve because it's meant for like film or camera work, or it's something that's meant to be used for many different types of things. Therefore, a brand that is so well known for coming out with products that are so consumer friendly to bring something else out and say, well, wait, you're gonna have to do A, B, C, and D to make this work. I do get why people are really irritated by it. On the other hand, I think it's great that they're doing something different. This is really going to be a matter of personal preference and really the type of energy, patience, whatever you have for this. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Those are just my initial thoughts about this, kind of addressing some concerns. If I think of anything else along the way, I'll definitely speak about it. So as recommended from the launch video and all that good stuff, I'm going to start off with an eye primer, which I do in every single video. This is the Urban Decay eyeshadow base in the color Eden, and I'm just gonna put this on my upper, I always want to say upper lash line. It never comes out right the first time. So I watched the reveal video before the palette came out. I watched most of it. I didn't watch the whole thing. Do you remember him making the comment about eyeshadow base being the preferred or suggested method for priming? I don't remember if he said not to set it with a powder, but I just can't not. I don't have the shade name list transparent vellum thing that came with the palette, so I'm just gonna have to insert pictures of the colors I'm using throughout the video. I will list them down below also to be a little bit more helpful in the order that I actually apply them. I'm gonna go in with the third shade from the left. It's kind of a pale yellow shade. One thing that is recommended with this palette is to tap or press the color into the lid and then blend it out, as opposed to kind of going in windshield wiper motions and applying it. I don't feel like the color I'm about to go in with needs to be done that way. This one is not crazy pigmented, but I honestly don't think it's meant to be. I think it's meant to be more of a transition color, which is fine for what I need it for. I'm going to apply this from inner corner to outer corner. Okay, so that went on very, very nicely. So one thing I would like to say about this palette and kind of what I feel like is happening with it, I definitely feel like James has been very defensive of this palette, which I do understand. I honestly believe there are many times in this beauty community, for whatever reason, people want to go on a witch hunt. There are some people that just can do nothing right in others' eyes. So I completely get why when you release a product, you do feel the need to go to bat for your product, so that the people that are spreading false information about it or giving bad reviews for the sake of just, you know, bringing people down, you might feel the need to clarify and obviously defend your hard work. I've watched videos of James trying to explain or defend swatches of this palette. You guys, swatches are not, they're just not the most important thing when it comes to a eyeshadow formula, and also pigmentation. Still not the most important thing when it comes to an eyeshadow formula. I feel like blendability is so much more important. Like pigmentation, obviously it needs to be there, but if it doesn't blend or if it gets muddy when it's worked in with other colors, those are also problems. So the whole, you know, Swatchgate 2018 about this palette where everyone's like, they're fake swatches. Yeah, like it is kind of shady if you think that someone's showing you fake swatches, but if the goal of that swatch was just to show you the color, it still isn't going to tell you much about like what the eyeshadows are actually going to do. I don't know. It's just something that like I've been thinking a lot about. It really bothered me during all of that. I'm going to go in with the hot orange shade in the palette, and I'm going to take a JH32. I am dipping it lightly in the palette, dusting it off, and I'm going to start pressing this on the lid. So patting this on, it's going on very, very nice. It's really neon. When you tap off your excess, a good bit comes off with it, and it's not a problem for me. I've said many times, I always tap my brushes before I touch them on my eye anyway. That is nothing new. Okay, so this is a very, I don't know if it's picking up on camera. In the camera right now, it looks yellow. This is actually like a true, I don't know how to describe this. It's like a highlighter. You know when you get like an orange highlighter for like school? That's what it looks like in person. It's very unique, very pretty. It wasn't difficult to work with, but I haven't tried blending it yet. I've just been applying it. Okay, I'm just gonna go in with the same brush, and I'm gonna take the other orange shade. It looks like orange. I'm gonna say it's orange, and hopefully when I mix these together, I get the tone of orange I'm kind of going for. I'm full blown just applying this like a normal shadow now, because patting this is gonna take forever. I'm really not having any problems with it, doing it this way on the plus side. It's very, very vibrant. I probably did not need to apply as many transition shades as I have, but I don't care. These colors are very vivid, like outside of being pigmented, which I know is the only word anybody cares about, they're just a very vivid color, very neon. Okay, so once again, I don't know, I certainly do hope it is registering on camera how it looks in person. It's really pretty. I'm gonna go in with this pink color. It's like the second to last on the 1, 2, 3, 4 row. I'm so sorry, I don't know the names of any of these. I'm going to do the way it is suggested to do it with the pink and the purple, because pinks, purples, reds, all that stuff, not easy to formulate, so I'm gonna try to do it the way it's suggested. I do like to give products a fighting chance based on the way they were intended to be used. So I'm gonna pat first, going in with a smaller brush. This look is going to be very colorful. I'm really not having any problems using it the way I do any other shadow as opposed to patting it in. Yeah, see, I'm just going in with a regular brush and swiping it in. It's not giving me any problems the way I thought it would, because like I said in James's video, it kind of sounded like you were meant to like dab it on and then blend it out, if that makes sense, and this really isn't giving me any problems. It's really pretty color. So this eye is going a little patchy on me, which is weird. I'm gonna go back in with the kind of yellow orange shade just to brighten up my crease so we don't totally lose that. this is looking a little choppy on this eye. So far, the colors are very vivid, but I am experiencing some inconsistencies, especially on this eye. I've gone over it several times, and I'm not having the easiest time getting them as smooth as on this eye. They're primed the same way. I use the same brushes, the same colors, and the same orders. Now, in this particular instance, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to cut this crease anyway. If this is something that would bother you or dissuade you from using this product, obviously, you are now made aware of what my experience has been, but that's why I'm going to do more than one look with this palette so we can get an understanding of which shades are easier to use versus difficult. I'm going to turn the camera off and do my cuttage. I'm going to cut my, whatever. I'm cutting my crease off camera, and then I'll be right back. I don't feel like doing it on camera because it takes me forever, and I got a mirror in my face. You can't see it anyway, so be right back. So off camera, I went ahead and started my lower lash line as well using the same colors that I used on my lid. How this look is gonna turn out, I feel like I messed up the cut crease. I need, you guys please help me, I need a good cut crease brush because it always ends up so crooked because the bristles are splayed out on the brush that I use, and like once you go up too high, you gotta like fix it. So I don't know, I'm hoping it's gonna come together in the end. If this is not the most gorgeous makeup application in the world you've ever seen, then like, no, I'm just kidding. That's why. It's because I cut the crease bad and I'm not starting over. So I'm going to take that pink shade and start moving it in on my lid a little bit more right here. I'm going to take a slightly more dense brush and the deep purple shade and start packing this on the outer corner. Right? Is that what we're doing? I'm going to start fading some of the pink shade in on my eye. I'm taking the hot pink shade in the corner and like going up to the crease with it. Going back and forth between the deep pink shade and the hot pink shade. I'm gonna drag some of the purple underneath my eye. I think this look is getting away from me. Being very disrespectful and doing whatever the hell it wants to do. Unleash your inner artist. So I will say, like, this eye is just like consistently giving me problems. And it's kind of staying that way. I'm gonna start packing the bright yellow shade right here in the inner corner of my eye. I really hope I'm able to bring this thing back together. I don't know if you guys can see, like, it is so patchy and I have been trying to fix it for a while now. I'm gonna go ahead and assume it's because I put it on top of a concealer and we were told not to do that. That's the only thing I can figure. I don't know. I'm just gonna put a little black in the outer corner. I'm just gonna put a little white eyeliner in this general area. I already did it right there. I'm so scared because there's no fixing it if I mess this up, yo. I'm going to take MAC's iridescent white glitter and some glitter glue, and I'm gonna glitter up this eyelid because I don't know, I want to. And as you guys can see, like, I've definitely got some patchy issues. I know people in the comment sections are gonna be like, it's because you can't do makeup. I beg to differ. I'm actually pretty good at makeup, if I do say so myself. But you are using a lot of matte shades together, which I feel like sometimes when you do that, that's expected. I also mixed primers. There is a actual eyeshadow primer underneath a concealer, so it could be that as well. I'm just gonna apply the glitter glue right here, like kind of on the mobile part of the lid. I'm just patting it on. There's glitter all over my face now. On the camera, it looks like this glitter is like silver or blue, but in person, it just looks like it's reflecting the color underneath it, if that makes any sense. All right, I'm gonna turn the camera off and do my lashes, liner, all that stuff, and then I'll be right back. This is the completed look. I actually do think it's really cool. It's definitely out of the box, something I don't do very often. You guys know I tend to go for more wearable glam, but that doesn't mean I can't appreciate colorful, fun makeup. Obviously in this tutorial I use things that were not a part of the palette, like the white eyeliner and the glitter. That's honestly because I just personally don't like the way a bunch of matte colorful colors look together. And I definitely am looking forward to experimenting more with some of the shimmer. So I'm gonna kind of reiterate some of the points I made at the beginning of the video and add and elaborate on them. I did touch on in the video how I'm aware that James Charles, his behavior and kind of the way that this palette has been received has been a little bit of a kerfuffle here on the internet. I think with time he will come to realize that maybe that wasn't the best decision. And I really believe that. I mean, I think he's young. I think he's like 20, 21 years old, and I don't know anyone over the age of 25, 26 who looks back at their early 20s and is like, oh yeah, I did it all right. I really had it figured out. Like, we all make mistakes. I don't believe on a cellular level that he tries or really wants to hurt people or to be as, I don't know, combative as he comes off. I would imagine someone who has got that many followers and that many eyes on him is probably on the receiving end of a lot of crappy behavior all the time. People who collaborate on products, I understand that it's got to be really scary and also very exciting, and like this is probably like literally the closest thing to a baby he's going to have anytime soon. So for people to attack it or accuse him of being misleading or something like that, I do understand why you might, you know, come out swinging. Some people really just seek to be understood, and when they feel like people are intentionally trying not to understand them, it is probably hurtful. That all being said, I do think that there are ways to go about things, and I would offer this as a constructive criticism to him and also to Morphe. You know, Morphe, you guys, this has been going on, like I said in the video, the Jaclyn Hill vault and this. I follow Morphe on Instagram. I'm not on Twitter, so if they have released a statement about any of this stuff and I'm speaking out of ignorance, I do apologize. But I do not feel like I ever see Morphe come out and be like, here's what happened in the lab, here's what's going on. Like, we all know, I mean, and if you don't know, be aware that a collaborator's actual role in creating this product, you know, it probably varies person to person, project to project, but this is not their company. And I really do think it's unfair that these collaborators end up taking a huge hit to their reputation. That doesn't mean that like it's a risk you're taking, man. If you're gonna collaborate and you're gonna put your name on something there's a chance it's gonna happen. You have to accept it. You're getting a paycheck. There's good and bad with everything. But I do think it's something people should at least consider. Obviously it's important to also remember at all times, no matter what company you're buying from or who you're supporting or who's collaborating with that company, like, your research, figure out if it's right for you. I say all this because when this palette launched and I saw it, although I'm not a really big, like I said in the beginning of the video, I'm not a big James Charles fan. I don't think I've watched I think the video for this palette is the only video of his I ever watched, and I didn't even watch the whole thing. Although I am not like a big supporter of his, I was excited at the idea of this palette coming out because it just looked really cool to me. And when I do makeup looks lately, I tend to try to stay within one palette. So having one palette that just had so many options, it really inspired me and got me like juiced up about it. And then like clockwork, within 48 hours there was drama and scandal, and I just don't know why that is. I say all this to kind of like shed light on my review, in that like I do like this palette. I did have problems with it. It's a first impression, so I don't think it's fair for me to come out and say 110% it's great or bad. I think there was things I really liked about it and that surprised me, and I had problems with it as well. And I will be doing more videos, and I'll probably do like a roundup at the end of some of those videos videos and looks and kind of give you a full, concise opinion of it. This palette's huge. There's something like 35 eyeshadows in it, and it's impossible for me to use it one time and use 6 of those and know what's really going on with this. If I had to recommend it to you right now, I would say it's a good thing it's sold out, because it gives you time. You know, if you didn't get your hands on it, it gives you time to really figure out if this is for you, if it's something you want to, you know, work with. I have heard that, you know, he really is trying to treat this product like a true artistry tool. He talks a lot about, from what I understand, about how actual artists understands you have to use different tools and different canvases for different products and use them in different ways, and it's 100% true, and that is what separates ultimately a makeup artist from a YouTuber and an influencer. So I think, as I said in the beginning of the video, that's where this has kind of gotten woven in the way that kind of invited, I don't want to say invited because that makes it sound like Morphe and James Charles had this coming, but it definitely was a breeding ground for a lot of the backlash. I wouldn't say this is beginner friendly. I would say this is something that, so far, this is my opinion so far, I feel like this is something that if you have to constantly reiterate, once you figure out how to use it, once you figure these out, there's a learning curve. I have this feeling that what's going to happen is people are going to come to me and be like, oh, well, that was patchy and choppy because you didn't blah, 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 and you didn't blah, blah, blah. I don't like makeup that needs a user's manual personally. I'm so excited about this product that I'm willing to figure it out and figure out like the best way to use it, if for no other reason to share that with y'all. I think it's unrealistic for James Charles and Morphe to be super surprised that there's a lot of confusions and questions about this product, because they themselves have admitted it's unlike anything Morphe certainly has done. His goal was to create something never before seen, and then we get it and people are kind of confused, and that's just gonna happen. So anyway, long story short, I would say if you do not have this yet, watch some more reviews, you know, have an open mind, give it a fair shot. If you do have it, this product definitely has the potential to be something really great. I need to play with it more to figure that out, but I don't hate this at all. Like, I would still, I'm gonna pull for this over, excuse me, I just knocked something over. I'm definitely gonna pull for this often. I know I am, because it's just so convenient to have all of these colors together. And the ones that I used today, like, they were beautiful. I'm just not sure if the way that I used them was the right way to get the type of makeup, you know, application I was going for. This one gave me some challenges, but as I've said for the 4th time, apparently, you know, you gotta figure out how to use them. Anyway, I hope this video was not confusing. I hope it actually gave you some insight to it. If you want to see more videos with this palette, please let me know. I do have a lot of holiday content coming up, but I will squeeze some James Charles videos in there and hopefully have like a really good idea of who I would recommend this for by the time the restock comes back in. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please make sure you check the down bar for links to all my social media platforms, a list of all the products that I use. Subscribe if you have not, hit the notification bell, and I gotta get out of here. See you next time.